This is the psychological essay on Stockholm Syndrome, based on Jung's studies in his book Aspects of Contemporary Drama. Stockholm Syndrome is the name given to a particular psychological condition, in which a person, when subjected to a prolonged period of intimidation, begins to feel sympathy and even friendship or idolatry for their aggressor. Psychologically, this particular condition can also manifest itself in people who may have developed, since childhood or adolescence, a long period of experience, due to the influence of family members, educators, foster homes, etc., some sadistic or masochistic character traits, implicit in his personality. However, they may have certain characteristics of physical, emotional and psychological abuse, as well as have developed some feeling of affection and attachment, directed towards aggressors and kidnappers, or any profile that fits into the general group that corresponds to Stockholm Syndrome. There is also a strong possibility, widely considered, that for some people, victims of similar harassment, they may develop some unconscious defense mechanism, in an attempt to project affective feelings in the figure of the kidnapper or abuser, as they can ease some type of negotiation or agreement between the victim and aggressor relationship in an attempt to reduce tension during and after the experiences between those involved. In general, these unconscious psychic processes and their relationship between both victim and aggressor can be perfectly understood in a wide range of contexts where the situation of aggressor and victim is repeated. Even in the case of women who suffer aggression from their spouses, despite having legal resources and family support to leave the aggressor, they still persist in living under the atmosphere of fear and terror. This type of syndrome is not exclusively about misogyny. In this essay, we present questions that may involve the entire psychological and anthropological understanding of Stockholm Syndrome. This syndrome is named after the famous robbery in Stockholm, Sweden, in the 1970s. In this event, the victims continued to defend the assailants, however, they showed reserved behavior in the legal proceedings that followed. At first, victims begin to emotionally identify with the kidnappers and attackers through retaliation or violence. Through subtle gestures, which are considered beautiful by the kidnappers and aggressors, as they are often amplified, because the hostage person cannot have a clear vision of reality and danger in such circumstances. For this reason, attempts at liberation are seen as a threat. On the other hand, so that the reader can assess the veracity of the Stockholm Syndrome in the Brazilian political scene, the author presents videos of reports and copies of official documents of the Superior Electoral Court of the TSE and the Federal Supreme Court of the STF of Brazil. It shows the political maneuvers of the STF, which ordered the release of innumerable defendants convicted of Operation Lava Jato, so that these defendants can run for the elections as of the 2022 elections. The videos and documents presented are for the reader evaluate this and other decisions, as well as unconstitutional agreements made with the National Congress. All these events have as their background the COVID-19 pandemic, while the health and freedom of expression of the Brazilian people are used as a political toy. Now, let's hear Jung's analysis.
As the world becomes more technically efficient, it seems increasingly necessary for people to behave communally and collectively. Now, do you think it possible that the highest development of man may be to submerge his own individuality in a kind of collective consciousness?
That's hardly possible. I think there will be a reaction. A reaction will set in against this communal dissociation. You know, man doesn't stand forever his nullification. Once there will be a reaction, and I see it setting in. You know, when I think of my patients, they all seek their own existence, and to assure their existence against that complete atomization into nothingness or into meaninglessness. Man cannot stand a meaning